Welcome back, YouTube. This is MFJJ from Spokane Valley Archery and Podium Archer. Today we're going to talk about my philosophy on how to grip a bow or how to hold a bow. So I'm going to show you a couple different bows and examples and why certain grips might feel a little better and make duplicating your grip a little better. So come along with us and we're going to show you how to hold one of these. My philosophy on how to hold a bow correctly. You want to take as much of your joints out of the equation as possible, i.e. your elbow, your wrist. So you would think with a lot of these grips that you would hold your bow in this kind of a fashion, right? If I can get you a good side view and a good front view like that. This is totally the wrong way to hold your bow because your wrist bends in this direction, right? So if you get tired and fatigued as you shoot, your hand is going to change. The whole point of archery is to try to do it the same when you're done as you started when you begin with. So if you try to start in a fashion that is how you would end, it's most likely to be as consistent as possible. So with that in mind, you're trying to push the bow away from you. You're not trying to hold it into you. So if you push forward, how would your hand sit if you're trying to push forward on something? Your hand would sit pretty much like that. Sorry, I'm looking at the camera backwards, so my hand might move a little bit. So if you can keep your hand in roughly this position, one, it's going down your arm instead of on your wrist, so the pressure of the bow grip is through your arm, essentially through here, not in your joint here. And if you can hold it correctly and bring your grip in like so, all of a sudden your bow won't move left to right anymore. It just kind of sits. Now I know this doesn't look anything like the bow grip that they put on there, like most of them do, but this is the manner in which your hand will rotate the least on the grip. Now a good training tool that I've used with people over time is I'll make them hold something with their fingers. This is just a thing of beeswax. You can do it with string wax, small Allen wrench, what have you. But if you can hang on to this and hold your bow at the same time, when you fire, it will not rotate. And you'll notice a difference when you hold your bow in this fashion, that the bow, when you fire, it doesn't turn this way or doesn't turn that way. It just kind of goes boink and forward. So holding your hand in this position, pushing on it forward, is the best way to hold a bow, regardless of what type of bow. Now, having a rounded grip like this is super comfortable. At least it's in a straight line, which is nice, so it gives you more of a transition of how it should feel. But because it's rounded, it's a little harder to tell where the grip pressure is. Now, if you go with more of a square-edged grip, like most target bows, they're a little flatter through the edge. You can feel it digging into your hand a little bit. Now, when you go to shoot that, when you test fire it, you'll notice it and it feels a little more uncomfortable, but the beauty of it is you can actually feel it against your hand. Let's see if I can go that way. So you see how much of my hand is not on the grip at all. If you can get it down in there, it just won't move. Plain and simple. So, shallowest part of your palm down here. Nothing ever goes to this side of your hand. If you follow that line, I don't know the lines on your hand. I'm not a fortune teller or whatever, but nothing past that line this direction on your hand. It's like stop and push forward, and that is the position your hand should typically sit in. You'll notice it significantly. Now, if you're not sure if you're doing this correctly and your bow's all squared up, when you stand in front of a paper tuner, if you're applying left pressure or right pressure, you'll see your left to rights in your paper chair change. It's a good way to train grip. If you shoot over and over and over and over and over and your paper tear is constantly changing, you're changing how you're holding your bow. It should be relatively straight hand as such. And it doesn't really change, like I said, from brand to brand or bow to bow. Another thing to think about, if you touch the front of your grip, you're applying pressure to the bow itself. This is a machine, okay? It will literally shoot every arrow in the same hole if you just get out of the way. So the more touching, gripping, holding, etc. that you do will make it miss by more. Another thing that people don't think about is they'll fire it and then they'll grab their bow. Well, your signal to your brain to fire the bow is also going to your front hand at the same time to fire the bow. If this touches the bow before the arrow's out of the bow, you are still manipulating what it's doing. Fire the bow with your hand relaxed and open and let it go where it wants to go. If your bow wants to leave your wrist or your hand, that's what wrist slings are for. It's to catch it so it doesn't fall on the ground. So super, super important that you do not touch, apply pressure, or manipulate this in any way to get the most consistency out of your shot at every time. So I kind of feel like I'm missing something here, but in any event, that's how I hold a bow and how I teach people to shoot. If you have questions about it, feel free to message me, ask me all kinds of what have you. If I need to do an update to this to explain something a little better, I'll be happy to do it. It's early. My brain's not quite firing exactly how it should. But in any event, that's how I hold a bow and how I shoot a bow. Head on over to podiumarcher.com for all your archery needs. $99 and up is free shipping. Let me know if there's anything on there that you need that we don't have. I'd love to put it on there for you or tell you why we can't get it or where you may be able to get it from. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, check us out a little bit more. Comment down below. I want to know what you think. I want to know what questions you have and what videos you want to see. We'll keep pumping them out as often as we can, as much as we can. Lots of reviews coming, so check us out soon. There'll be a bunch. Thanks a lot.